Yo, hello traders, it's your one and only Forex Q coach, Tim Legend, and I'm super excited having you all here today on this one. Alright, if this is your first time on my channel, could you do me a little favor? Hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on so that you don't miss out a single thing. Because right here in this channel, all I do is to post content that help you win in the financial market. So hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell. Now let's begin. That brings us to a topic called key level. Okay, when you hear a lot of people tell you key level, oh, this is my key level, that's my key level. Key level is all about your area of entry. For instance, here is a key level. This is a key level, an area of entry. All right, but now price has crossed my key level. What I'll do is to look for the nearest key level, and I tell you that here is the nearest key level. So when you want to bring out a key level, all right, you don't use lines, you use your rectangle. Okay, so here is actually the nearest key level. Why is this the nearest key level? You're going to ask me that question right now. Here is the nearest key level, and you can see price is actually reacting from there. You can see it's beginning to spike downward. There is the nearest key level because we can see clearly that price had played around all the zones. You see the rejections that happen around all the zones. You see the rejections that happen around all the zones. All right, this is kind of like your support and resistance also, but because you don't want to put so much lines on your charts, okay, you don't want to soil your chart with so much lines, then you use your rectangle to draw out that level. Okay, because this is this was resistant here. It resisted and pushed price back down, then price broke in, came back. When it came back up, it resisted again. When it broke in and came back, it found support here, went back up, found support here, went back up and broke in. Now it has come back to that same zone. So this is a key level. Now, what do I do next? Since I missed this first entry, now that I've spread out my next key level, what should I do next? What I'm going to do is nothing else but what? Wait for price to do something like this. Let it come out of this key level. I want to be sure that it's not going to get resisted back down. So I'll wait for it to come up, because everly is going to come up and give me and come back down to retest. This also brings us to a strategy that is also called break and retest. All right, price would likely break this retest before it starts going up to my nearest take profit here. This is what price is always going to do. For instance, check out, let's look for some areas where price broke out and see how it's always retested. Okay, just with this analysis, let it just be here. Okay, we're going to come back to it. I want to see how price is going to react around that zone when we come back to it. So I want to believe that you guys are actually grabbing the knowledge and you're understanding the rules of trading here. All right, and the things you always want to look out for and the things you want to avoid as a trader. All right, so back to our trend line. We have this trend line here. Okay, so you can see the strategy, what I told you guys. Here you have the first touch, and this was your second touch. And what happens on the third touch? Price rallied straight down. Okay, and that was a good one. So anyone who wanted to find entry around there should have found a good entry during that era, because right here, even here, you begin to see those rejection candlesticks rejecting around that zone, telling you that look, the bullish move is getting exhausted. All right, so you should look for selling opportunities. For you to sell, it's freaking simple. Place your sell on the trend line, all right, and risk little. Place your sell on the trend line and do what? Risk little. All right, but you know what you're targeting. You're targeting something pretty high. Why are you targeting as high as this? Because this is where price came from. Price came all the way from here to this side. So you're targeting it back there. And if you notice, that's exactly how price played back to that same zone again before it found support. Okay, so this is just a simple rule of trading. Forex is really not hard. It's just about your patience, right? And your psychology, how your mind reacts, especially when you're currently running on a trade, especially when price has even taken you in loss, about maybe $2, $3 loss. How is your mind playing? How is your emotion being controlled? All right, do you feel like, man, I should jump out of this trade? Or do you feel like, no, I'm confident. If it hits my stop loss, let it hit, no problem. I'll look for another entry. This is what makes you a trader. You have to be ready for every loss that comes. Always be ready for every loss that comes. Is inevitable in this market, right? But one thing is that when you catch the win, it's always going to be high to cover your loss. That's what makes you a trader, right? You see, if you see a trader who loses, it's not a bad thing. But one thing that makes that trader a good trader is when you see him winning more than he loses. Okay. So that's just the simple logic behind trading your supports, your resistance, your trend lines, and all of them. All right. That's the simple logic behind it. Now, this brings us to the break and retest that I was talking about. Now, right here, we were looking for, we had the first touch here. Good. And we had a second touch. Obviously, we ought to have taken another buy by the time price gets to here to give us a third touch. But what happened? We can notice that price did not give us that move that we expected, but rather price broke out of your trend line. And look what it did. It came and gave you a retest. After the retest, it came back down. From coming back down, it went back up to give another retest. This retest simply proves that this trend line that was formerly a support trend line, look, it was a supporting price to the upside. Now, this trend line that was formerly a support trend line has automatically now turned to a resistant trend line, which means if you can find your entry around here, you're good to sell. So like a trader like a trader that I am, who loves to catch just the spikes, I don't like trading candlesticks, is a good opportunity for me to look for selling opportunities to catch a lot of spikes from here. Once I see price has broken out of this trend line and has taken it as support, as resistance, right? So what I'm going to do at that zone is nothing else but what? Place a sell, all right? Place a sell and risk nothing else but little. Risk little and target. Look, your target is meant to be here. This is where price came from. So this is actually meant to be your overall target. But here ought to be your first target, probably your take profit 1. Okay, here should be your take profit 1, and here your overall targets. So, and if you notice, that's exactly how price played. When price came to this same level, you see how it reacted at that zone. You see reactions to prove that this zone is an important zone in the markets. Notice it was the second touch of the markets, and it was an important zone in the future. This is why I told you guys that with your trend lines and your support resistance, you can always use the past to predict what will happen in the future. All right. So you can see clearly that at that zone, price gave a good reaction. So if I had taken a sell from here, right here, price would play and continue going down. And I'm still taking more profit. When price tries to come here, it found resistance in that same zone that was support before, and price kept rallying down. And I tell you that this price, no matter how it's playing around, is coming back here. You see here, because of this place, because of here, this price is coming back down here, but it's going to play around. That's why I have this trend line right here, right now. Okay, so my anticipation now, if I'm doing analysis, my anticipation is that this price is likely, since it has broken out of this key level, it might likely do something like this, retest and go up, get to this trend line and sell back down here. This is exactly what I anticipate price will likely do. And as a trader, what do I want to do? Since I want to catch only the spikes, which means I only want to sell, all I have to do is to be patient, waiting for the day price will come here. Once price comes here, I'm going to place that sell, risk little, and target as high as this. I told you, always make sure you target those trades that are capable of giving you high profits. Don't ever take a trade that is going to give you like this. Is nothing. This is rubbish. Okay, always go for trades that are willing to give you nothing else but very high profits. Very high profits. All right.
Please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell.